Hey guys, welcome to another video. Unlike my other two videos where I talked about my number 11 list, which was films that I really enjoyed in 2016 that didn't quite make my top 10 best of the year list, but I still enjoyed them and I still recommend those movies. And then, of course, I had my top 10 best of the year list, which happened recently here on YouTube as well, where I, of course, talked about my 10 favorite films of 2016, the films that I thought represent the film art form very well within 2016, films that really impressed me in one way or another, films that touched me in some way. Now the gloves are off, and we are going to talk about my top five least favorite, worst 2016 films. These are five films that, three of them in particular, that I'm going to really talk about later in this video that I really did not like at all. And then two other movies that I was really looking forward to that really did not live up to the hype at all. So these are my top five worst 2016 films, like my best of the year list. These have to be films that I have personally seen, films that I have reviewed here on YouTube and stuff. And here, there's something on my computer screen. There we go. These have to be, films that I've reviewed before, and films that I have personally either given a negative review for or disappointed me in some way, which, believe me, these five films definitely have. So let's go over the five films in 2016 that I really did not enjoy. But like I said, there's two films on here where I didn't like absolutely hate them, but there's definitely a lot of things about them that really bothered me. But my top three on this list really bugged me a lot. Because unfortunately, 2016 was a year where we had a lot of films that did not live up to the hype, and unfortunately, these five films happen to be those movies for sure. So let's go over them. So unlike my best of the year list, where we start at number 10, and the more we work into the list, the better the film is. In this case, for this kind of list, you want your film to be lower on the list because that means I didn't hate it as much. Because if you're the last film on this list, so like number five, I don't hate as much as the one that's on my number one spot. But if you're in the number one spot, I did really not like your movie at all. So the person who directed the one at number one, you're not going to like what I'm going to say about it. So let's get the gloves off and let's say what I really feel about these five movies. So at number five, we have the BFG. I love Steven Spielberg. He's one of my favorite film directors. I loved Bridge of Spies back when he worked on that. But the BFG, it's not his worst film, but it's definitely a film that I am not going to remember many years from now. It's going to be a film that I'm probably going to try to forget simply because I know Steven Spielberg is way better than this movie. The use of CGI in this film was just so artificial and so fake looking, and the script was just so all over the place, and it just had a very bad sense of focus. Melissa Matheson, who wrote E.T. for Steven Spielberg, also once again very talented. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what happened here. I mean, this is such a great Roald Dahl book, and we have such a great director directing the movie. We had such a great writer writing the screenplay for this movie, and we had a film with farting dogs, bad CGI, unlikable characters, uninteresting characters, and this film was completely unworthy of Steven Spielberg. I don't know what really compelled him to direct this movie. Maybe he really liked the book, or one of his kids really liked the book, which is once again perfectly fine. I was really looking forward to this movie, and I left the theater really bummed on this one. I didn't completely hate it, but there's a lot of things about it that I really did not care for at all, and I just really didn't like that artificial stop motion look in this movie. It just really was not up to Steven Spielberg standards with his other films. So I unfortunately was pretty disappointed with the BFG. I'm probably never going to watch it again. At number four, we had Warcraft. For those who have been watching my channel for a while, for those who, I even think I put this on my top 10 most anticipated of 2016 list, or just, just me in general of what I look forward to in movies and stuff. To this day, I still want to see a movie where we break the mold of bad video games, or bad video game movies, or video games turned into films that always turn out really bad. I was really hoping Warcraft was going to break that curse because we had Duncan Jones, who worked on Source Code, which I loved. He worked on Moon, which I loved. I really like his screenplay style of writing. He's just a very and there's definitely little trinkles of his special touch in this movie, but unfortunately, what made Warcraft land at the number four spot here on my list was this really should have been the film that breaks the video game mold, and should it could have been the Dark Knight of video game film adaptations. It really could have just turned things around. I really think Duncan Jones would have had the right ability with the right direction, more so than what he went with. If he really thought it through, I really think this could have broken the mold, and unfortunately, it did not. Though I liked the CGI, though I kind of understood the orc side of the story, it was probably one of the better parts of the movie. Unfortunately, I did not like any of the human characters. There was just a lot of scenes where the world just looks really fake to me. Unfortunately, there's other parts where where they're at like a grassland or something that you could probably go to in reality somewhere where those look fine. But there's just so many scenes in this movie where like they're in some type of mystical world or something. It just looks completely fake. Um, I really didn't get into the human side of the story at all. I didn't like the human characters. They were very nasty people. Um, Also, one thing I don't know if anybody else experienced with this movie. It's a very loud movie. It's one of those films where like when hammers clash together, it almost overpowers the dialogue or overpowers anything that's going on. So it's kind of hard to hear what's going on at times. I don't know if it was the theater I was at because I saw it in an IMAX screening, but I don't know. There's something very off about the sound in this movie. So unfortunately, Warcraft could have broken the mold and it didn't. It landed at my number 4 spot. At number 3, we have Independence Day Resurgence. This film was bad. This film, like I said, once we reach the number 3 spot on up, we're to the bad ones now. This film really needed Will Smith, and unfortunately, I can see why he said no to this movie. Rather, I don't know what really happened behind the scenes about not him being not involved with this movie. I don't know if he was just too expensive or what, which I think is what happened. But this film references his character so many times. It's like, look, just get him in the movie. If you're not going to get him in the movie, this film is just not working, and it didn't work. They had this random kid that was supposed to be his son in the movie. I just didn't care about him. I like Bill Pullman and Jeff Goldblum. I love their characters from the first Independence Day, but they were really, I don't even think they redeemed this movie. I think even they knew that this script was just kind of stinky and bad. The little scientist guy who was bald and had glasses, they show his butt a lot in the movie and stuff, and how they worked his character back was just so hokey and fake. If he really was that out of it for 20 years, he would have been dead by now. There's just so many things about this movie that are so stupid and dumb. So unfortunately, this could have been the return of Roland Emmerich, and it just really wasn't. It was just a continuation of bad films from Roland Emmerich again. At number 2, we have Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. For those who, like I said, have been watching my channel like Warcraft, I was really looking forward to this movie. I loved Man of Steel. I was one of the few people that really, really, really liked Man of Steel, actually. So I went into this film with high expectations. I was optimistic about Ben Affleck as Batman, and, I was like, oh, okay, I'll give him a chance. I'm not super happy about it. I didn't like this movie. The script is just so all over the place and bad. It's not even really a movie. It's really just a feature-length trailer. There really is no story in this movie. It's so desperate to get the Justice League set up and so many like other worlds and places and things that we're probably going to see in other DC movies. It's just so concerned with building this world, and it just forgot to tell a good story. It forgot to give us a good reason why Batman and Superman were fighting. They gave us a reason, but it was a very, very bad and forced and stupid one. Jesse Eisenberg was a horrible Lex Luthor in this movie. I really hate his character. It got on my nerves after a while. It really is not a good movie. Ben Affleck did try. I'll give him that. He really did try. Unfortunately, he did give us a better Batman performance in Suicide Squad. For me personally, I thought his performance in Suicide Squad was better. Um, the cameos for the Justice League characters was so forced and stupid. Aquaman literally pokes the camera with a giant fork. That's literally his cameo in the movie. Cyborg just screams on a table when we see him. It's not a good movie. For those who didn't see it, you are very lucky. It's very bad. It's definitely the film that's making me very worried about the DC universe. I very much doubt they're going to catch up to Marvel if they make more films that play out this horribly. The tone was just so gloomy and uninviting. I did not like this movie. Do not see Batman vs. Superman if you never saw it. Not a film to watch. And at number 1, the reboot of Ghostbusters. For those who saw my review of this movie, I did not like this movie. It was bad. It was stupid. It was unoriginal. And everybody besides Kristen Wiig and Chris Hemsworth, those are really the only two redeeming, like, newer characters for the Ghostbusters universe. Melissa McCarthy and whatever the McKinnon girl from SNL, I think her name is. All of them were just so bad and annoying, and the jokes were unfunny. There was literally just scenes that were sticking up a giant middle finger at the first Ghostbusters movie. It just, the CGI looked outdated. It was bad. It was just, I did not like this movie. If you did not see the reboot of Ghostbusters, do not see the movie. It kind of hurt my feelings about the first Ghostbusters, to be honest. Now that this movie exists, no, just don't do any more of these Ghostbusters movies. If you're gonna make them this bad, just don't do them. They should have just made Ghostbusters 3 a while ago. They should have just pushed Bill Murray in and be like, look, man, you're gonna make Ghostbusters 3 whether you like it or not. I don't care how stupid this movie's gonna be. It's better than this piece of crap with all these female actresses who had no idea what they were doing in this movie. It was stupid. It's bad. Do not watch the reboot of Ghostbusters. It is bad. It is really, really bad. Do not watch the movie. So that's my top 5 worst of the films, worst of 2016 films, you guys. I can't even talk now just because I hate these movies so much. Do not watch these 5 films I mentioned here. They really were not films that lived up to the hype at all. So that's my top 5 worst of the year list. Let me know, guys, some films down below that you did not like in 2016. If you didn't get a chance to comment or see my best of the year or number 11 list for 2016, be sure to watch those and possibly comment on those if you want. And I'll see you guys here for the next video.